So there is a CEO of a pharma company in India. This is the biggest vaccine maker on the planet. And he spoke to Axios and gave us his thoughts on Pfizer, and they're pretty devastating. Watch.
Do you think it's ethical of the Biden administration, of the US government, to be rolling out booster shots and vaccines for children, 5-year-olds on up, when 3% of Africans have been vaccinated?
Well, I would say it's ethical provided with a rider they have enough doses to donate to the African nations as well. Then there's no harm in vaccinating your children as well.
Okay,
but if you don't, then absolutely not.
Would you call on wealthy countries who are doing massive booster campaigns for everyone and vaccinating children, would you call on them to stop the boosters and the children until the rest, until the low-income countries?
Absolutely. I mean, why should only Serum Institute provide vaccines at a $3 price to the low-income countries? They can certainly, and these are giant companies and corporates, they'll still make billions of dollars of profits in this pandemic, as one should, because you need to reinvest in research and be rewarded for your work. But there's no reason why they can't donate some of those doses or divert some of those doses to COVAX.
How do you make that decision of what is the ethically appropriate level of profit?
So it's tough, but when I bid for my prices, I make sure that there's enough profit that I can replow in my expansion, in building capacity, my research, and something which is a sustainable profit. As long as you're making a healthy margin, you don't have to make a 200-300% margin on your products. You can make a 20-30% net margin, and that's good enough.
So it's okay to be sort of worth 12 billion, but not 100 billion.
Yeah, I mean, because beyond a point, what are you going to do with that kind of capital unless you have a way of deploying it? You don't need it. You don't need to spend more than a certain amount on your own lifestyle. I mean, what can you do after you have a few houses and aircrafts and whatnot?
You know what's wild? What this guy's laying out here is the left flank of the Overton window. This is the acceptable position on the left. Namely, all right, look, donate more vaccine doses to COVAX. Let's get those numbers up in the developing world. But you want to have a 20 or 30% profit margin for medicine? Cool. 200 or 300%? Not cool at all. You want your company worth 12 billion? Cool. But 100 billion? A little too far. This is nowhere near radical enough. Like, this is the problem. You're never going to be able to vaccinate everybody through charity. You want to know how I know? That's what we're doing now. And only 3% of Africa is vaccinated. The answer is not COVAX. The answer is not giving Bill Gates veto power over world health. The answer is, just like how you should have health care systems and health insurance systems that are single payer, government systems, you also should have, dare I say it, nationalized pharmaceuticals. Now, before you say, oh, God, research and development and things and stuff and the profit motive is the only way we get the advancement that we have. Wrong. Virtually every single new drug on the marketplace was funded by taxpayers. So the research is going on either way, funded by you and me at various universities. What happens is one of the big pharma companies swoops in and buys up the patent rights, and then they price gouge you for it. So you pay for it on the front end, and then you also pay for it on the back end. You pay for it up front with your taxes, and you pay for it on the back end when you're price gouged when they sell it back to you. It is a scam. And the reason they get away with the scam is because they bought the government. So they get away with it. Now, again, this guy, look, he's taken a position that's better than anybody in, polite society and in the official elite space. But having said that, even this isn't sufficient. Donate more to Africa, then if you do that, then you can vaccinate your kids. But you should do that first. Don't make 200 or 300% margins. Do 20 or 30%. Your company could be worth 12 billion, but it can't be worth 100 billion. Like, what are you going to do with all that capital? Here, I'll simplify it. There are some industries and there are some parts of the economy that cannot be left to the profit motive, period. Because there are some ways in which the profit motive is a perverse incentive. Everybody understands you can't have a private fire department because if you have a fire insurance and your neighbor doesn't and your house is burning down and theirs catches fire, the response for him is tough cookies, let your house burn down. That makes no sense in a developed society. That makes no sense. Can't have private cops because then only the people who fund the cops are going to get the protection of the cops. So it's, it's a Mad Max insane situation. Can't have private mercenary armies. The downsides of that are obvious. We don't even have to get into it. When it comes to health insurance, look, the health insurance companies make more money the more they deny you care. That's how they pad the bottom line and make profit for their shareholders. They have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders, and that's how they carry it out. Deny care as much as possible. There's a perverse incentive structure. You have to change the incentive structure. When it comes to healthcare, when it comes to pharmaceuticals, the profit motive does not work. It doesn't work. Forget about working also. It's also just immoral and unethical. The effects of this, the consequences of it. So, God bless the guy. He's slamming Pfizer. He's saying, what are you doing? You got to do more. Cut your prices. Stop price gouging. Donate more. Okay, better than nothing, but we really just got to change the game and change the structure of the whole system when it comes to healthcare, health insurance, and pharmaceuticals. And this vaccine thing is a great example. I mean, we have the thing that could end the pandemic. We have it. And Pfizer and Moderna, they're refusing to release Johnson & Johnson. They're refusing to release the recipes because they want to make more money off of it. They want to keep those patent protections. That's genocidal. If you have the solution and you're refusing to release it to developing countries and leaving them on their own, and so we'll just do it through charity, and you're not getting anywhere near the numbers you need, that's genocidal, and you're doing it for profit. That's the real answer. He's slamming Pfizer. His position is the left flank of what's acceptable in polite society, but it turns out polite society is wrong and you need to totally remake the system. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.